Hey everybody, this is a delayed review of Naruto Shippuden episode 253. I bought a better microphone for this review because there were a few complaints about my other microphone. Evidently, a lot of people couldn't hear me. This review is just going to be a few of my own thoughts on the episode, along with the summary of events that happened in the episode. Just to give you guys a little insight on what happened if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, I would advise checking it out because it's actually a pretty good episode, I would have to say. I wasn't too impressed with the last episode because it was mainly flashbacks, and this episode, even though there were a few flashbacks, I would say they were original content and somewhat interesting, and even if the flashbacks were flashbacks of just old, reused content, it still didn't have very much runtime of flashbacks, if that makes any sense. Well, anyway, I'll get to exactly what happens, a little summary of events here. Episode begins right where the last one left off, with Konan and Toby fighting Madara. Madara is pushed into Konan's little river. She separates these rivers in half. Very cool spectacle to see. Reminded me of that time when Naruto was pushed off the side of a cliff or into a fissure in the earth, and by Jiraiya when he was forced to summon the Toad King or whatever. I forgot the name of the biggest one, but it kind of had that same kind of effect going on. As Madara is flying downwards, she evidently gathers like 600 billion paper bombs, because she realizes that his little ability to seep through objects is only able to last for around 5 minutes, and the amount of bombs she has is going to explode for about 10 minutes, so she thinks she has him in this one. Up until this point, we've seen Toby Madara with the mask with only one eye popping out. This time, since he's really at a disadvantage, we see him break his mask off and use his other eye to pretty much save him. Before he does this, though, it shows a little bit of a flashback that kind of just a little moment with Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan training with Jiraiya. The flashback has some significance towards the end of the episode, because the flashback basically focuses on the three's they had this little thing going on where if they left the little shack they were in, they had to turn their card around, and when they got back they had to turn it back to kind of like show if they had actually returned, or if they were captured by enemy or something like that. And you'll see what happens near the end of the episode. Near the end of the episode, Konan has a little paper that resembles these little pictures of them with their names on it that they turn around, and it actually floats all the way back to the shack that they used to train at and sets right on her name again, which was now covered in weeds and vines and all that kind of stuff. If you haven't seen the episode, you might be disappointed to realize that Konan does appear to die in this episode. I kind of expected it last episode, because of, usually you see a lot of flashbacks before the person dies, trying to sort of relive their character. But I will say that the death of Konan is, I wouldn't say that it didn't really bother me, but we do get to see Madara and his new mask, which seems to be kind of striking my curiosity as to what new powers he can use with his with the Rinnegan abilities that he seemingly absorbed off of Nagato's dead body. After the battle, and after Konan is killed and the flashbacks are shown, and she sends that piece of paper back to the little shack that they used to train at, it basically just shows Madara going back to his location with his new mask, which you can see in a picture here. And he presents his new mission, which is to go find Naruto to get his nine tails extracted from him. And there you go. That's pretty much all that. That's pretty much what happened in the episode. I would recommend watching it. The last episode before this, if you haven't seen it, I don't know if that'd be a weird occasion that you're watching this review and you haven't seen the last one or this one even, or You probably didn't really have to see the last one. It was, like I said, mostly flashbacks. This one, a little bit of flashbacks, but a bit more action. A few new surprises, I guess I could say. Overall, pretty happy with this episode. A lot more happy with this one than the last one. So I'm curious to see what happens next episode. The previews for the next episode actually strikes my interest a lot more than what happened at the end of this one. So looking forward to that. That was basically a little review, my opinions and thoughts and basic summary of what happened in Naruto Shippuden episode 253. Check back for more reviews, more opinions. If you like this video, comment, like, dislike, whatever, doesn't matter to me. Subscribe if you want to. Next week I'll have another review of Naruto Shippuden episode 254.